Hello again. Right now we're going to go over our four-part drawings, and I just wanted to go over the steps that that Miss Schmidt, my friend Lynn, had done in her video. And this was the one where she was using spacing her fingers in increments to try and figure out the proportions of the object. And she also used her pencil tip. So it's kind of like, when people stick their thumb out and they try and figure out how wide something is with their finger. I don't know about that. I showed you my grid method, and the grid method works amazing. So, but you can't really do it with an object. So you could measure the handle of this object as compared to the spatula part, and you could do it that way. So you can use a ruler, and it's something I don't think we do enough these days. And it's great for helping you make straight lines, but I definitely prefer lines made without rulers. I want you to experiment with drawing by hand. So that said, your next step after you drew your object was to color on the back to try and make like a carbon paper, transfer paper, and then you did the first one, which was your contour line, just the edges. I mean just the outlines. Oops, let's talk about edges. And then the first one was the second one was pencil shading, normal pencil shading. This one was ink, and it's interesting to me that she's not only using hatching, cross hatching, she was also doing a little bit of stippling. Stippling is using shading where you're doing dots, and it's the density of the dots that create the different shades. And then the last one was charcoal, and she was using like a little ball of toilet paper to blend it, and advised us never ever use your finger. So, and I agree with that advice. So anywho, we'll go ahead to what we've got. So here's Abby, and Abby, I think that instead of drawing an object that you were looking at, you drew along with Miss Schmidt. So, it's still a perfectly good drawing. This was just more of a practice of looking at an object and drawing it. So I'm not going to really worry about that too much, but in the future, I would say read the assignment really carefully so that, you're understanding what you're going to do at each step. And while you're doing those steps, snap pictures. I think we're all getting that, the progress thing. Okay, and then here you did do where you scribbled on the back and made 4 copies, so that's awesome. And here you've got your contour line drawing. Great. And then Abby did her pencil shading, which turned out very nicely. I love your edge down here and here. Here we wouldn't really have so much of an edge. I'm going to guess maybe that was shadow, but that's fine. And here you did a really nice job with your hatching and cross hatching. And what she was doing there on the surface was showing the wood grain. So I know she didn't explain that either, but I thought that was really a cool thing to do. And then here we've got, I love that you tried the stippling. So cute. Oh my gosh, when I was in college in 1986, we had to do advertisements using stippling for our shading with pen and ink. Oh my gosh, such hard work. That's why I've always avoided graphic design, because I thought, if I gotta do this, I'm never gonna make it. And then here we have your charcoal, which also looks wonderful. So good job, Abby. Okay, next this is Bailey. And Bailey, I'm proud of you for choosing an object, one of your utensils out of your utensil container or drawer. I do see that you're using the sketchy lines that we're going to try and get confident and start to avoid eventually. So don't worry that it's happening still now. And I also wonder about your proportions, because it almost looks like the handle is a little chubby. So in this case, I would have loved to see the original object, although that wasn't required. It's just, I think it's so interesting and helpful to know. So this is a good first step. And then here we have all of your others. So I also wonder, looking at these, if you did the drawing where you scribbled on the back and then traced it. Because even though they look very similar, I'm not sure they're exactly the same. And I just, you know, like, it's one of those games where you try to picture what's different. You know, I'm just looking around and I see that this one has a broader handle and this one has a narrower handle. So I think you kind of skipped that step. Still okay. You got a great job on your contour, and then here's your pencil shading. We're going to be working a lot more on shading and how shading really occurs on the side of the object that is opposite the light source. We'll be talking a lot more about that. So I think it's difficult to know what to do just by watching somebody. You have to know the reasoning behind it. Here with your pen and ink, I love, love, love your little cross hatching. That's so cute. And you did it with pen, so awesome job. And then here's your charcoal. Your charcoal, I think your charcoal shadow is my favorite because it's just so smart. It hints at a surface that the spatula is laying on, and I think that's awesome that you figured that out. I wonder if you were just looking at it in the light and noticed it. So smart, smart, smart. And here we have Haley's, her first drawing. I love how Haley shows us that she did those extra steps. And then tracing it harder. And then we've got her first tracing here. And I know how hard it can be to work from one of those little tracings with just freehand. You know, but I'll tell you what, the cool thing about this drawing is it looks like a real wooden pencil or wooden spoon to me. It just feels like it has that texture, and it's got, you know, it's like worn from being used many years. So that's really interesting to me. I like that one. Wait a minute. Oh boy. You know something, Haley? Hold on. So this is Haley, and then Haley did another object. Okay, I'm going to take this one out because I think, yeah, I think you were experimenting with two different objects and then ended up choosing the spoon. You'll have to let me know if I'm wrong. And then this looks like, I honestly, Haley, I can't tell if it's ink, but I see your cross hatching and it's really strong lines like ink would be. Oh boy, I did it again. Okay, and then here's your charcoal. So this is also really soft. I'm not sure, it seems like you did use the toilet paper, but the picture is so soft that I'm not sure. I wonder about this surface over here if you tried your finger a little bit. So we're going to work towards avoiding that. This edge, Haley, this edge is gorgeous Oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. It looks realistic. And again, you've kind of hinted at the texture of the wood. So I think that's wonderful. And then here's your 4. I think you followed all the directions really well. But one thing that I notice is you've got dark side, and then on the pen you did light side. You did the opposite. So I just think that's why this one stands out a little bit to me. But other than that, well done. Okay, and here we've got Ivy. And Ivy was worried about choosing to do a lollipop because she was worried it was too small. Well, with drawing in proportion, you don't have to draw the object the same size. Like say this lollipop was 4 inches long. You could increase the size to 8 and just double the measurements. So that's a really great thing to know about drawing in proportion. You can increase the size. That said, this is a great pencil rendering of the object. I love your shadow and your edge. Good job. I don't know why that keeps happening. I think I'm pressing the wrong thing. I need to press the arrow. Okay, and then here's your pen, and this really looks like an ink pen to me, which is fine because I have used ink pen as well. But I like your shading. Again, here I would work on going with hatching only. No, that's not true. Actually, with everything, right? Going from the darkest to medium to light. So I do see that here. If you know, you've got a really light edge on the stick, so that's very good. And then here I'm gonna have to call you out there, Haley. It looks like I can see the oil in the paper from your finger. So, and I know that this is something that all kids try to do or learn to do somewhere from somebody along the way. I've never allowed it in my class. So you can tell I'm kind of picky. But anyway, I suppose it's possible that you used a chamois or paper towel and just rubbed it really hard so that it kind of completely melted into the paper. But yeah, because of that, that's probably my least favorite of your 4. Not the end of the world. Not the end of the world, okay? Everything else looks great. Okay, now we've got Remy. Remy's got his nice dark drawing of the knife, the butter knife, I imagine. And because of that first image, I believe that he has scribbled on the back and then traced it because it's very dark, but you know, I'm not exactly sure because the proportion of the object in the next picture is a little different. So this is, let me see. Okay, so the second one, this is your pencil shading. And it does appear like you used a little bit of charcoal there, which is, I find that fine. I would like to see a little bit more highlight. This is a beautiful little highlight here. And other than that, gorgeous. Hatching, I think we had a difficult time with this week. It's really just dark to medium to light. And learning how to do it so that it doesn't really appear to be like, I don't know, like grass or like fur. You know, that's a skill that we can focus on. But this is like really seamless and nicely curved. Whereas here, you know, we've got these pointy edges. So it's just an observation, really, Remy, nothing to worry about. And your charcoal is gorgeous. Oh, I love, love, love how you blended this shadow out. That is excellent. So also you could have went back in with your eraser and created some shine because apparently this is a metal object. So that's a really fun thing to do with drawing metal objects. Okay, and there's your 4. Very well done. Nicely done. Okay, and that's it for our 4-part drawing. I think everybody did really well, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.